Hi and welcome back. I'm doing just a quick part 2 to my follow-up about FI, and in this I'll cover 3 what are apparent FI paradoxes. I'll jump right in because I'm hoping to make this a short video. The first apparent paradox is in FI being values, and it is to an extent this values and authenticity, but by the same token that's not entirely correct. That is, because FI is a judging function, it's about processing. It's about having a series of inputs, then throwing that into the black box, and then getting a particular set of outputs. So asking an INFP, what are your values, is kind of similar to walking up to an INTP and saying, what's your logic? It's like, well, my logic is the thing I use to do stuff with. It isn't a block of stuff I can just describe easily. So similarly with an INFP, you should expect, if you say, what are your values? It's sort of like, well, I don't know, show me a particular case and I can tell you what I believe is the morally right thing to do. The second piece is about looking at FI as being, or feelings in general, being a feminine function. I believe that FI DOMs, it's, first off, you can look at each of the cognitive functions of having potentially masculine and feminine aspects. The masculine aspects of FI have to do with seeing yourself over tribe, following your own compass, doing what you believe is right in the face of others having different opinions. So in that respect, there is sort of the aloof INFP, or the one that simply does what is correct, regardless of other people's opinions, which are both, I would argue, considered to be masculine traits. The thing that I would say trips up kind of the INTP is more the SE polar piece of just not having that initiative that's considered more frequently masculine. So I would say overall, when you get some ISFPs, they're FI DOMs, but they can be some pretty badass people. So that's sort of the second paradox. The third one I'll go into is about FI and feelings not being rational. And I think I addressed this in part 1, but host Eric, that is Eric Strauss of Talking with Famous People, had left a comment about saying, really, this is a rational function that produces repeatable results. In a more general sense, I would say yes, not exclusively repeatable, because FI is taking soft and squishy questions and coming up with soft and squishy answers. But categorically, if, for instance, if there's a case where there is a murder that's happened or some sort of crime's been committed, and there is a certain number of factors that led through that crime, FI comes to a certain processing decision. That same person, if the factors all being equal at another time, sees that same or similar case again, will probably produce some of the similar types of conclusions. Where that gets tripped up, of course, is that with NE, there's a lot of win-win stuff going on where there may be an ideation to try and come out of doing a swift FI judgment of saying, well, here are your range of available options, but to say, well, what about this completely different option that will fix everything to a different degree, or will produce a better outcome for all involved, instead of just having, say, the trolley problem, the binary of does the trolley run over one innocent person or 5 guilty people. So at any rate, these are 3 potential FI paradoxes. Again, FI not necessarily being values, even though there is a value-related function to it. FI or feelings-based cognition not being considered masculine or feminine in and of themselves, and FI being, in a sense, a rational function if it's given the same sets of inputs, that it generally will produce the same category of output. So I hope that's some interesting material, and I wish you all good morning, afternoon, and evening.